When I was 18 years old, I went to Romania, worked in some orphanages, and it was there that God changed my life and broke my heart for the orphan. I saw kids in these orphanages and thought these kids need to be in families. And I knew that day that I was called to adopt.
Yeah, and I think for me, the calling, I didn't know early on in life, but I knew what God had called us to and the picture of how He adopts us into His family through Christ. And so for us to adopt is to show that picture to the world.
So we started the adoption process not having any idea how we were going to actually fund the adoption. Once we started seeing the paperwork come in from our agency and the different fees we were going to have to pay, then we heard about Both Hands, and we were on board.
The idea for Both Hands came to me because I was in charge of a golf tournament one year for a charity. And we were supposed to send letters out to everyone we knew saying, would you sponsor me while I golf? Well, I sent my letters out. I had a friend who I was in a Bible study with. He sends my letter back to me, doesn't include a check. He just scribbles on my letter. He said, JT, if you told me you were working on a widow's house, I might sponsor you, but you're just golfing. Nice cause, but not my money. And I thought, wow, what a great idea. You could help a widow. Everyone just goes to her home one day and fixes up, at the same time raise some money.
My husband and I, Randy and I moved here in 2012, and we started attending Station Hill, the church at Station Hill. That's where we met Brian and Christine. Well, the Lord graduated my husband in 2013, so I was thankful to be situated in a church that was so loving and so helpful in so many ways. And little did I know how helpful they would be through this process of the Both Hands ministry.
It wasn't until we really met with JT for lunch that I understood his heart and his vision for the ministry and his own story, and could see that this was not only just a fundraising opportunity, but a real ministry opportunity for us to fulfill what the Bible calls us to.
The first Both Hands project started in 2007. I was in church, ran into a friend of mine, and he tells me he's adopting 4 kids from Moldova, and he's already got 3 children. And I knew it was going to be expensive because my wife and I adopted our daughter from China. And I asked him, how are you going to pay for all this? And he had no idea. He just said, we're just not breaking up the siblings. Well, I'm the just right guy to say that to. That took me back to when I was 12 years old, living on a farm in northeastern Iowa. There was 5 of us kids. I remember one weekend in particular, my mom and dad left to celebrate their 16th wedding anniversary. And us kids were kind of farmed out to different places. And I remember Saturday night, we're being brought home, and I was dirty. I had to go in the basement and change. But I remember sitting on a chair, unlacing my boots, and my older brother came down the stairs. I looked up at him and I said, are Mom and Dad home? And he looked at me and he said, Mom and Dad are dead. I said, what? He said, Mom and Dad are dead. They were killed in a car accident an hour ago. And he walked upstairs. I know what it's like to be an orphan. I know what it's like to hear those words. I know what it's like to lose everything that kind of keeps you tethered, the foundation that you grow up with. I know what it's like to lose that. But I also know what it's like to be rescued. Because my aunt and uncle, who already had 3 children, took all 5 of us in. So I told my buddy, I think I got an idea. So we found a widow in our community to serve. We recruited about 15 of our friends. We all sent letters out saying, would you sponsor me for the day? And we spent the day fixing up this widow's house, and it was awesome. And I remember that day getting on the roof and looking at all the volunteers who came out as a community to serve this woman. And it reminded me when I was 12 on the farm, just a few days after the accident, getting off the bus and looking out in our fields, and there were all our neighbors in our fields with their tractors and their plows and their discs and their drags, and they were planting our crops. And standing on that roof and seeing all those volunteers, I thought, I think we're standing on holy ground.
I was more than thrilled, more than blessed, more than blown away by not only the faithfulness of our Father, but also the sweet-hearted tenderness of church members who were willing to help me out.
It was about 2 years ago, a little over, that we were matched with our son Sam. It took us 1.5 years to get him home from Ethiopia, but October 31st, 2017, we landed in Nashville. We couldn't have brought Sam home without our Both Hands team.
Yeah, absolutely. We couldn't have gotten the funds raised unless they sent out letters on behalf of Both Hands and Our Story to let all these people across the country and in other parts of the world know about what we were doing.
You know, they rejoiced with us when we rejoiced over the adoption process. They were crying with us when we were crying. We had people asking us if they could be a part of it. Like we went and, you know, we sought out our team, but then a lot of people even were like, can we come that day? Can we help? We want to be a part of what God is doing through, you know, bringing an orphan home and blessing this widow.
As a widow, how could I have done those things on my budget? I couldn't have done it, but our God is faithful, and I'm so thankful that and blessed because they chose me to bless me with this gift.
We're not all called to adopt, but we are all called to take care of widows and orphans. And when you answer that call, you're signing up for a life of moving mountains in God's name. One family, one widow, one orphan at a time.
The moment we were able to get off the airplane and walk out to our friends and family just there welcoming our son home, we knew that every second was worth it. Every letter we sent to our friends and family, everything was worth it at that moment. We knew, and we look at him now and we are so eternally thankful that he gets to be ours, that we get to be with him, you know. He needed a family, but we needed him too.